Hello, I'm Don Mitchell. Welcome back to Business Basics, the book that helps you as a leader to help your organization, whether for profit or nonprofit, accomplish at least 8,000 times more for your beneficiaries and end users and customers if you have them. Today we'll be talking more about ways to cut costs in this way, by doing so by adding some new sources of revenues. And this is lesson 32, which is entitled Attract Sponsors and Advertisers. And I'll be quoting first from the second chapter of Acts, verses 46 and 47 in the New King James Version. And I quote, "So continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, they ate their food with gladness and simplicity of heart, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily those who were being saved." So this lesson continues ways to make cost breakthroughs and generate extra revenues by looking at sponsorships and advertising. We'll start with sponsorships. What do I mean by a sponsorship? It's any way to combine recognition with providing access to desirable prospects and customers for someone who, or an organization that, makes a payment or otherwise subsidizes an activity. Sponsorships are more important than ever because they make marketers avoid being lost in advertising clutter by providing higher visibility and prestige to the sponsor. When a sponsor pays you, that's income to offset costs you cannot otherwise reduce. The effect is similar to simply reducing costs. As the primary benefit, sponsors are usually looking for access to attractive prospects for their offerings. In many cases, your prospects and customers are also highly appealing for other companies and nonprofit organizations, making them interested in sponsoring your activities. Yes, you may have observed some of the ways that sponsorship access is provided while attending a seminar or conferences. Typically, the sponsors have a chance to speak briefly to the assembled group and have lots of marketing people present for mingling during meals and breaks. There may also be banners on the walls and notices in the printed program carrying sponsors' names and logos. On the event invitations, there are probably mentions of the sponsors. Publicity for the activity probably includes listing sponsors by name as well. Under such circumstances, it's not unusual for the sponsor's fees to cover more than the total cost of the conference or seminar, so that all attendance fees contribute profits for the conference or seminar organizer. You may not be holding conferences or seminars. How then can sponsorship cover some or all of your costs? Well, you can provide online services or material that can be downloaded for little or no cost from the internet. Such an online site can also have sponsors whose identities are prominently displayed. You can also develop offerings that sponsors purchase. As an example, a sponsor might provide your offering as a gift to those who buy their products or services. During times of high gasoline prices, for instance, some dealers in the United States have offered hundreds of gallons of free gas for people who bought new vehicles that didn't get very good mileage. A sponsor might also provide marketing access for other organizations. In our community, some charities play this role by selling inexpensive books of discount coupons. The charities keep the proceeds from the book sales after obtaining the books for free from the publishers. The companies providing the coupons pay the publisher to appear in the book. Those who buy the book save lots of money by using the discount coupons. Through the coupons, coupon providers introduce new prospects to their offerings and bring some customers back more often. In other cases, almost all offerings will be sold to sponsors who in turn directly provide the offerings to their prospects and customers. For instance, golf tournaments are often staged to provide funds for charity. Sponsors are given access to special venues at the tournaments and provide with most of the tickets for the events to distribute to customers and prospects. Sponsors also receive much visibility in the event's promotions. The prestige of sponsorships is increased over the company conducting such an event just for itself by improving the quality of the competing golfers, the amount of media coverage, and the number of attendees. In another variation, a sponsor may be a supplier seeking recognition that provides a lower price for its offerings in exchange for the sponsorship. An example can be found on the computer I'm using to prepare this lesson. The machine has a seal on it that says Intel Core Duo instead, indicating that what brand and what kind of microprocessor I have. In exchange for this recognition, Intel slices its microprocessor prices by about 5% to its computer manufacturer customers. Another way sponsorships are structured is through paying for objective measurements and rankings. Those who want to be evaluated pay a fee, which is then used to do the ranking process. The organization making the rankings distributes awards among those who sponsor the contest. The winners use the results to tout their superiority over competitors in press releases, in interviews, and in their advertising. You may have not thought much about how your marketing activities and offerings could benefit from encouraging sponsorships. Now is a good time to remove such blinders. Companies are more interested than ever before in sponsorships to replace more expensive and less productive marketing programs. You can cash in to make cost breakthroughs when you help such organizations to meet their needs through helpful sponsorships of your high-quality activities and offerings. Now, how is advertising different from a sponsorship? When a sponsor obtains recognition for making activity or offering possible, along with privileged access to prospects and customers in exchange for payment, advertisers are solely purchasing the right to put their commercial messages in front of prospects through some form of media that you provide. We've all seen television advertising. At regular intervals in the regular programming, short commercial messages are inserted. Companies pay large fees for such time slots, in addition to covering their own costs for producing the messages. The fee paid relates to the number of people who will see the message and their potential value as customers for the advertiser. The same concept generally applies to magazines and newspapers. All or part of a printed page offers the opportunity to attract the eyes of readers. Because the whole publication may not be read, the assumed benefit is considered to be less than the overall readership. In addition, television advertising provides the opportunity to create more emotion, which in turn can be translated into making a bigger and more lasting impression with more people. Advertising is also sold on commercial vehicles such as taxis and trucks. Some companies have been paying to display advertising in personal vehicles. Such exposure is often cheaper than renting billboard space and may offend fewer people who are concerned about cluttering the sides of roads. With the advent of the internet, advertising possibilities expanded. Initially, advertisers were encouraged to buy so-called banner ads that took up a big space near the top of the screen and said little. Most advertisers found that such ads weren't worth much in terms of adding profitable sales. Yahoo, Google, and others found that carrying commercial messages with some relevance to those reading the online page worked better for encouraging purchases from advertisers. Rather than advertisers paying to reach people who merely saw the ad, payments for such ads are tied to how many people click on the ad to reach a site where there is a more extensive commercial message or an offering cart. The offering can be purchased. This media approach was intended to be similar to paying for attracting someone to a store where he or she could buy an offering. Accomplished in the latter was worth quite a lot more than simply exposing the name and offering of the advertiser to more eyeballs. Through Web 2.0, websites can become communities where people spend many hours a day. On such sites, the advertising revenues can be a vast multiple of the cost of providing the site, assuming that enough visitors are attracted who post and view these videos and photos, exchange opinions, share ideas, and interact in other ways. As an example, a student of mine developed a very sophisticated social networking site of this sort for families at a software cost of less than $3,000, yet the advertising potential of her site was several $1 million a year. If you don't have such a site now, you can inexpensively develop one that can be a major source of cost-reducing advertising revenue by using software designers and programmers who are based where pay rates are inexpensive. While working on the site, you can speak with your developers at no cost over Skype or another voice over internet protocol service. Naturally, you can have as many sites as you want, as long as each one serves a different purpose and attracts enough visitors to more than cover its costs through advertising revenues. If you hold gatherings of customers and prospects and don't have sponsors for such gatherings, you can also sell advertising to place on the materials that you share with attendees. In many cases, your advertisers will also market your gathering to their prospects and customers, and you may attract a great many more potential customers to attend. When that happens, you can gain direct cost savings for your marketing in addition to the advertising subsidy. You can also provide videos on your website as well and sell time slots on each video to advertisers. Such online advertising opportunities have become popular with truck and automobile manufacturers. You can also put advertising on your buildings, your packages, and any place else where customers and prospects may see the messages. Your suppliers, for instance, may want to be recognized in your final offering in some way. Even placing their logos on a web page may be of interest, as Intel does with its Intel Inside stickers on personal computers and laptops. The sky's the limit for attracting advertisers. You should realize that when print media were more popular, publishers regularly earned a profit on their entire operations just from the advertising revenues. The subscription revenues, by comparison, were usually quite small, just a tiny fraction of the total profits. Can you provide both sponsorships and advertising? Yes, as long as you keep them separate. A sponsored event usually should include advertising from those who aren't sponsors, but websites can offer a combination of sponsor recognition and pay-per-click ads from organizations that don't compete with sponsors. Some magazines have been following this dual course for a long time. Fortune, Forbes, and Businessweek, for instance, carry many ads for offerings and sell sponsorships to gatherings that senior executives pay to attend. Such offerings are potentially quite profitable. So what's the key lesson and key point about cost-reducing sponsorships and advertising? You can use zero-based analysis to create 2,000% cost reduction solutions, allow you to gain new sources of revenue from sponsorships and advertising to support the minimum core offering by offsetting costs for you and your stakeholders in ways that will almost instantly expand profits after implementation and help reduce costs by more than 96% or increase social benefits by more than 20 times what you will be spending. What are your assignments? First, what aspects of your costs can you find no way to reduce very much? Second, is there any benefit to other organizations from sponsoring some of your activities or offerings, allowing you to offset some of such costs or to help you gain customers less expensively? If there is no potential benefit for sponsors from what you do, can you design new activities and offerings that would deliver such major benefits? If neither alternative seems feasible, would partner with another organization that already has sponsors help solve the problem? 5, what's the best way to make sponsorships more appealing to sponsors, to your customers and prospects? 6, how you gain lots of low-cost publicity for and attract more interest in sponsorships. 7, is there any benefit to other organizations from advertising through some of your activities or offerings to offset some of your costs or to help you gain customers or beneficiaries less expensively? 8, if there's no such benefit for advertisers, can you design new activities and offerings that would deliver such major benefits? 9, if neither alternative seems feasible, would partner with another organization that already has advertisers help solve the problem? 10, what is the best way to make placing advertising more appealing to advertisers and to your customers and prospects? 11, how can you gain substantial low-cost publicity for and attract interest in purchasing such advertising? And finally, how can you combine offering sponsorships and advertising to lower your costs still further while helping sponsors and advertisers to reduce their costs as well? So again, thank you so much for your attention. I hope this lesson has been a great blessing to you. I look forward to talking to you soon and giving you more great ways to improve the effectiveness of your organization. But in the meantime, may God bless you, your family, and all you do. In the name of Jesus. Goodbye for now. Take care.